This is Module 2 project, Beth's Cafe. Thought I would go over a few of the steps that students have questioned in the past. So first thing we have to do is we opened it in our Mind tab, and it appears in this protected view. So whenever there is a yellow band at the top, it will not let you edit it until you click Enable Editing. So we're going to do that first. Okay. Now that we have the ability to edit it, we have to save it. You'll notice up here at the top in the title bar, it is not in the correct format for us to upload it to Mind tab for grading. So first thing you want to do is you go to your File tab, and then we go to Save As. We go to our local drive wherever you're currently keeping your work. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the format here to the format that is accepted by Mind tab when we upload to grade it. Now you're going to notice most of you probably just have a 1 here, but the reason I have that parentheses 6 parentheses is because I have done this so many times. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to delete or backspace and then put a 2. So this correct format will say it has your name, the underscore 2, and then the dot and the extension. And then we can save it. Okay, so that is explained up here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through a couple of the first steps. Okay, so Beth owns a cafe chain with stores in 4 different cities, and she wants to analyze her sales and sales tax associated with her store's most popular items. So that's what we're working on. Go to the sales summary worksheet is the first bit of directions provided. So right now we're on the documentation worksheet. So we have to click to the sales summary worksheet. Think of it as a book, and each page is equivalent to a worksheet. So there is our data for the sales summary. So first thing it's asking us to do is to copy the contents of the range A6 through A11. Now the way that this reads is it's a colon. The 2 dots is the word through. So it's identifying the information in a range A6 through A11. And then it wants us to paste it into the range A15 through A20. So we're going to select, first of all, A6 through A11. And then we're going to come up here to our ribbon, and we're going to copy it. We also could use Control-C. You'll notice when I do that, you get these what I call dancing ants around the selected area. So once we have copied it, we're going to paste, according to our instructions, into range A15 through A20. So we select A15 through A20. We paste. Now you're going to notice there's several different paste options. And as you hover over them, they'll tell you what type of paste it is. But we are going to just do this paste right here, which just is a basic copy and paste. You can also use the Control-C, Control-V for copying and pasting, FYI. Okay, so we have just completed the copying and pasting. So we're on step 2. In cell B11, so we have to click in B11 to make it active. When you make a cell active, that means that you can type in it. Now, you may type a formula in it, you may type letters, you may type numbers. In this case, it's asking us to type a sum function. So we're going to put an equation basically in here. Anytime you put an equation in, or a formula or a function, you have to put an equal sign. The equal sign helps the spreadsheet understand that that is what you are doing, that you're actually putting information that has to be calculated, opposed to just plain old data. So we put the equal sign, and then it's asking us to use a sum function. So we're going to type in the word sum, and as you type in the word sum, you'll notice that you get this drop down that has a lot of different functions available to you. We are going to use the top one, so we're going to double click on it. And we double click on it, we get the setup for putting in our range. So in this case, it says it wants us to put in B6 through B10 right over here. So I'm going to select B6, and I'm going to highlight or all the way down to, select all the way down to B10. Once again, we get the dancing ants. You'll notice that as we selected, it appeared here in our B11 active cell. We're going to use a close parenthesis to finish off that equation, and then a check mark, and you'll see that it has calculated the sum of all of these. Okay, next thing, you'll notice that this is the equation up here in the formula bar. Okay, another great thing about Excel is we could actually click here and do that same thing for each one of these columns, but a beautiful thing about Excel is that it recognizes that you create an equation and that you may want to apply that equation or function somewhere else. So what we can do is we can take our cursor, if we go down here to the right hand lower corner, you see a green box. You take your cursor and you're going to place it right on top of that green little box. You'll notice it turns to a black cross. Now if you push down your mouse button, you can slowly drag to the right, and this will, when you lift up your mouse button, will fill in each one of those cells. It took the information that you created or put in the B11, and it adjusted and filled out the whole row 11. Okay, so that's that. Now we're on step 3. Copy the contents of cell F5. So here we're going to copy. They just want us to copy the word total. So I'm just going to do a Control C, and then I'm going to click where we want it to go. In this case, it's going to be F14, Control V. So there you go. Step 4. Now this one is a little more confusing, but definitely doable, and confident that you can do this. So let me read it to you first. In cell E15. So first let's click in E15, make it active. Create a formula that multiplies the value in cell E6. They tell you what that information is. E6 represents the latte sales in Baltimore. So remember, the very first thing you have to do in order to put a formula or a function in is you have to tell the spreadsheet that's what you're doing, and you do that by putting in an equal sign. So we're going to put in an equal sign, and then it says it wants us to multiply the information basically in E6. So we're going to come up here, we're going to click in E6, and when we click in E6, you'll notice that it actually puts it in the formula bar and in the active cell. Then we are going to multiply. In Excel language, the asterisk is what is used for multiplication. So we put an asterisk in. The asterisk is above the 8 number key. Then it says it wants us to multiply by E14, or the information in E14. So we're going to click in the information in E14. There we go. And we would normally just be done, and then this would just be called a relative reference. So if I check mark, there it goes. It gives me the correct total of what 6% of the sales for lattes in Baltimore. So let's say we're going to pull this down like this. Okay, so there's a little bit of a hiccup here, or an issue. Anytime you get a hashtag, it doesn't mean there's anything really wrong. It just means that that column is not wide enough in order to be able to see the numbers. So we have to auto fit it or expand the column width. So in order to do that, you're going to auto fit. You're going to take your cursor, you're going to place it up between the columns that you want to widen, and you're going to get a different cursor. You're going to get this cursor here and with the 2 arrows on the right hand and left hand side, and then you're just going to simply double click your mouse and you'll notice that it widened the column for us. So that's good. There we go. Now let's look into the formulas that were used and calculated, because there is a problem and I want to show you what you need to do to correct that problem. Okay, so we're going to click up here in the E15 cell and look up here at the formula. So here it's saying that you want to multiply the information in E6, which is here, by the information in E14, which is here. That's correct. So now I'm going to click here and check out the formula. It's saying that we want to multiply the information in E7, that's correct, by the information in E15. Well, that's not correct. We need to multiply by the information in E6. So what we have to do is we have to do something to that original formula before we use our fill handle and pull it down. Okay, this is called an absolute reference. So we basically need to tell the spreadsheet that we want the information in each one of these rows, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, to be multiplied by the 6%. So the 6% is in the E14 cell, which is right identified up here. So what we do is we have to use the special symbol, which is a $sign, and we put the $sign in front of the letter and in front of the number of the cell that we want to remain constant, or we absolutely want that cell to lock so that when we pull down our fill handle, it will give us the correct information. So if you click here, you'll see E7 multiplied by E14. And we have E8 multiplied by E14, E9 multiplied by E14, and so forth. So that is called an absolute cell reference.